Hey guys, how are you doing today? My name is Brendan Bromley, and yeah, I'm still sick. That's besides the point. We are going to be looking up for the next 7 episodes. We're going to be looking over classic horror movies, movies that predate the year 1975 to be exact. And these movies are movies that helped build the horror genre or helped inspire lots of interpretators and lots of like people that strived to be these kinds of movies or whatever, or these are movies that are just simply pinnacles of their respective part in horror cinema. And well, today's movies, they're directed by what is considered one of the greatest filmmakers ever made, the master of suspense, Alfred Hitchcock. He has made some classic movies, and today we're going to be looking over 2 of his famous horror movies. At least we can consider them and put these movies into the horror movie genre. What are those movies? Psycho and The Birds. But before we get into Psycho, which is a very easy movie to talk about, let's talk about the movie The Birds. So the movie The Birds is actually fairly simple of a premise. It's just all these birds start showing up in this town and in the city, and all of our main characters start to try to figure out what's going on with the birds, and all of a sudden the birds attack at the last moment, and then it's just chaos from there on out. People are dying from the birds pecking at them so much, and they're swarmed by the hundreds, and this movie is actually fairly simple in premise, that is. This movie was plagued by a horrible production. There were multiple problems with making this movie. There were mechanical birds, there were real birds, there were bird puppets, and just everything was screwing up. But luckily they were able to make the movie, which the movie, given all of its production issues, shouldn't be as good as it actually is. But for some reason it turns out pretty decently. And what makes this movie pretty decent? Well, first off, the suspense. This movie does build up a lot of suspense considering the birds themselves are incredibly violent. And they're swarming by the hundreds. And they aren't just attacking one tiny person or anything. They're attacking large cities and causing fires and explosions and car crashes and mechanical and electrical fuck-ups. These birds are everywhere and destroying absolutely everything, leaving no trace of life behind. Plus, the acting is overall very, very good. And not to mention the scares in this movie, though they're not jump scares, this movie actually does get very scary, especially when some of our characters will wander into a room and they find a guy with his eye sockets pecked out. This movie was made in 1963. People would cringe at that even today. But in 1963, seeing a guy with no eyes in his eye sockets because the birds pecked them out? Dude, you gotta have some balls to put that into your movie. And well, Alfred Hitchcock, he had balls. Overall, this movie is a technically masterful film, considering how hard this movie had to have been to make. This movie mastered lots of effects, mainly with blue screen and green screen, in order to help have it so that way the birds looked like they were flying overhead. We would get aerial shots of kind of the birds looking down, and just overall, this movie is a very technically masterful film. Well, guys, there you go. With good acting, good scares, good suspense, just a technically masterful film, The Birds, in my opinion, gets an 8 out of 10. Well, we just went into The Birds, but now let's talk about what is possibly Alfred Hitchcock's greatest movie ever made, Psycho. What is this movie even about? It's about a woman who steals money from this man. She's on the run now. Now that the police are after her, she's on the run. And well, in order to get away, she stops in at this motel. At this motel, she meets this guy named Norman. Norman's a cute guy, he's nice overall, but you can tell he has a weird fascination with his mother. And then, about a third of the way into the movie, our main character dies. What the hell? The woman that we're supposed to like see her get away with this crime and steal the money dies? Okay, fine, whatever. But now I guess what happens with this movie is, well, what happens with the money? Well, Norman's cleaning up her room one day, oblivious to him that there's money anywhere, and he throws it away. Boom, the money's gone. Well, then what the hell is going on? That's when it dawns on you that this movie is about the person, the people living at the motel, Norman's mother. And the fact that she just might be out of her fucking mind. Immediately, guys, this, once again, I said Alfred Hitchcock had balls. And dear God, does it show in this movie. Alfred Hitchcock clearly had the balls to make a movie where the main character dies in like the first half of the movie, which is absolutely insane, especially for the year 1960. This movie started many tropes with horror movies and many cliches, and this is the first of its kind. This is debatably the very first slasher movie ever made. And it really is effective. The score for this movie, everyone knows it. Everyone knows one of the most iconic scenes in history takes place in this movie with the shower scene, with her getting stabbed to death over and over again by this person in the shower. It's just, this movie is so iconic. And this movie actually is just incredibly smart, especially with the twist ending, which I won't spoil, but you guys should probably know what it is by now, considering how iconic this movie is. And just, this movie is flawless. This movie has incredibly good acting, great writing, great suspense, and like excellent scares. Just, this movie is just a perfect movie that only the master of suspense could have made as good as it actually was. Because of it, Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho does get a 10 out of 10. There you go, guys. We just went over the movie The Birds and Psycho, both made by Alfred Hitchcock, and, well, there we go. For the next episode's movies, they are going to be The Haunting and Rosemary's Baby, which are two movies that I would say are effectively good with the creep factor. And, well, whatever. That's our next episode. My name is Brendan Bradley. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, whatever day of night time you're watching this, and sorry about the voice, but I'll see you all next time.